Here's some of that wood that's left. Got to get that. There's one over there, but it's busted. You know, there's still a lot of stuff up here to clean up. And then all this stuff, you're just not going to clean it up on that side of the road at all. It's not going to do it. He lost a couple. He didn't get those ones the other night, and they just went ahead and cut those up close to the power line. Can't blame the guys, really. I did check on our pumpkin plant. Let's walk down here, bear with me. And it was still alive, even though they laid brush on it for a couple days. It's still alive. But right here, they're cleaning out for these. They got a little hole blowed out in there. They cut a couple logs up. Let's check on our pumpkin plant here. Nothing fancy. If we get the pumpkin plant, they're supposed to be done by September. So if we get the pumpkin plant out without it killing it, right there it is, without it killing it completely out, I don't care. All it wants like a couple. I planted it down here. It gets a lot more sun through the day. Like most of the day, it gets sun. Like the sun rises over here and comes back way over here. In the wintertime, it's real low. It's just like right through here. It comes back through here, up through here. Kind of like this. But with all that out there, it's a lot. Getting a lot more sunshine. Look at all that, man. They about got it cleaned out. They're still... You got these two, that one, couple, 2 or 3 here and there. I think he really just wants the bigger stuff. I really don't think he can handle it. You know, there's another guy up the road here. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. Don't care, they're doing a good job. Got to pick on them a little bit. I kind of looked in through there and seen I planted pumpkins all the way down that bank because we had it cleared off. And I only seen the one that came up. I had some other ones that got covered up with the wood chips, so that's going to be a definite no. But right here, those are pretty nice. But to get those out, you know, I think he's starting to get his feel for the wood. You're really only going to have probably another 20 pieces. And we came down here last night and got one. There was 3 that was cut. That one right there laying is no good. So it's no good. We came down here and loaded up one. I said there was one bad one, that one. And then there's one hiding right in there. It's about a 12-inch or so. You know, I think he's really just trying to get the bigger stuff. His fuel, his problem. If they don't take it, it'll eventually come out of there a rot one. So, whatever. He just don't have a big enough tractor. That thing, it looks small from here, but it's like 22 or at least 18. You're only going to be able to cut it at 8 feet. He can't pack it. So, and then, you know, problems with diesel fuel, problems with the chainsaw. You know, he messed up a chain, messed up a bar, whatever it was. You know, you say you want it, and people would probably want it. Right there's another good tree. Right there's a couple more. You know, people say they want it, but to actually be able to get it, it's harder than you think. I don't care to throw a chain around something, but, you know, I'm disabled. I really can't get up there and grunt like I used to. Back when I was like 25, oh, buddy, I'd done hauled them in myself. I'd made me some money. But you got to pay the taxes. You know, I don't care about no little sawmill. That's worth cash money today. You know, and unless I had a sawmill, I don't have one, don't really care about it. But right there, there's a couple more right there. There's a tree right there. You know, there's probably 2, 3 sticks of wood. 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, probably about 20 more pieces of wood, maybe 30. You know, it starts getting slim pickings. Taking all the really good stuff at his discretion. It's his. You know, he takes care of my driveway. And Sam said, you know, if we're cleaning it up and I'm happy, he's happy. So it's not really worth a ton of money. You really need a dump truck and a knuckle boom or a big excavator to load it up. You might get $300. I think it's all poplar anyhow. You know, you might get $500 or $800 out of the whole job site. Money in the bank, but when you put diesel fuel in an excavator, you know, that big one we got, it takes about almost $400 to fill it up. You run that out in about 6 hours, you turn fuel all the way up. And, you know, with Carl, he turns his fuel down low on that tractor, it gums them up. It'll gum one up to where you're not going to be happy when you have to fix it. It gums the injectors up and stuff sometimes. It does on that excavator that we had, or still do. They got 3 of them. But they just use it for mainly in the junkyard. It's overly sized. To move it, man, you got to have a permit, low boy, dump truck. You know, old man's got all that stuff, but in order to use some of his equipment, you know, most time he wants most of the money, obviously. You can pick them up for about 10 grand, or used to, you can pick them up for like 3,000 to 4,000 bucks. You know, even if it had a blown motor or a hydraulic pump that was bad, you know, you could get another one. They was cheap. Cheaper than a new one. I'm not saying 4 grand's easy money, but if you do a heavy equipment like they do, they build trailers. So, you know, but it takes like 6 months to get paid. You know what I mean? So you'd have to wait 6 months to get a check, and then it takes like a good bit of time for it to clear. You know, so you're juggling bills, especially with a $18,000 electric bill sometimes. You know, it'll be on the point of getting cut off. Like, hey, you know, make a payment today or we're just going to have to turn it off, boys. I'm sorry. You know, so you got to take a loan or have newer car, like a new car that you've paid for. You know, robbing Peter to pay Paul is what we say. You know, it's big numbers on the screen, but after Uncle Sam reaches in and wants to tax you on what you earn and tax you every time you want to spend some money or have to, it's different. Then he's got these little logs down here that he's pulled off to the side. He's got this big one here. It's got a dead hard in it. Somebody was saying that they want him to cut it up. They still got their wood laying over here. If they pay me, I cut it up. I don't make no money off this, so as long as he cleans it up, you can see it's got a dead heart. As long as he cleans it up, I don't care. People are like, oh, let's make a beautiful mantelpiece. I can show you on my steps right now why you don't use live edge on a mantle. It peels off as it seasons out. Especially like with a wood fireplace, man, those things get so seasoned, they start splitting. You know, people are like, oh, it's beautiful, blah, blah, blah. It is. You know, if you could scan it with a 3D scanner and carve it out with like a CNC machine, give it that same desired look, and then stain it and patina and, you know, make it look like something, it'll work. But if you ever been around woodwork, you know, somebody probably got hustled. Look there, it's peeling off. It'll continue to peel till it comes completely off. Yeah, that looks great. It's not going to last. Look at the bottom. You know, that live edge, it comes apart. That's why people say they want to use it for like decoration or whatever. Yeah, it's great, but it just won't last. Flowers are starting to come on. Finally getting a couple little blooms out of these little ones. This one here has been rocking and rolling. It's been throwing. This looking good. Probably gonna have to fertilize the tobacco. Picked all the weeds out. I figured I'd show it off. If we can do it without deleting the video. Man, that baby's huge. Chigger's been eating me up so bad I can't hardly pick all the weeds out of this. I got out here last night and got all this. But we got tomatoes pretty hard on the vine. Like I say, they say guys around here usually get tomatoes around the end of June, first couple weeks of August or July, and first couple weeks of August. I could say that's probably true. Hank or tank, I seen him kind of walking through here. That's our problem. He stepped on that plant, he's killed it. He keeps trying to wiggle his way through there for whatever reason. So I got to put up some wood or something. They're so little now that, or so big now that, you know, nothing's going to bother coming through there. I got some decent sized tomatoes. They look like they're about to start turning. They're not big. They're not as big as your hand. They're kind of like maybe 2.5, 3 inches. Not very big at all. But these marigolds, geez, man, I've never seen them that big. Except for out on the farm a couple times where they was like 6 foot, 8 feet tall. But it still hasn't even opened that inside flower all the way. But I don't know. We got hopefully 2 different kinds. It looks like the same kind though. It seemed like that one side of the packets didn't want to open real good, but you buy stuff like that, they get crunched up at Walmart. Guys, that's the update for today. We was able to do a little something. That car over there, gonna have to straighten it up. I gotta pull it out. I'm throw the fenders back on it, throw the hood back on it, and throw some wood to the inside. And it's just gonna sit there until we get finished with the truck, and we'll haul it somewhere or do something with it. It's not gonna be able to stay there. I just won't. I don't want it there. Once I get done picking its bones clean, it's stripped. I mean, I still got to take the doors off and get her patch panels. That'll be the next thing. So it's so hot, we're probably going to take a 3-4 day break, to be honest, because it is absolutely wicked hot and I haven't felt the greatest. So we're just going to have to see what the day brings, or the rest of the day. If that makes sense to you. But that's all we got left on that. Strip those 4 little pieces, and that's about absolutely everything you can get off of it. You know, I hear people say you put it on Marketplace, blah blah blah. If you look at Marketplace prices, they'd want $5 grand for that. I don't see how people buy cars and flip them anymore. It's like, that's what it would be worth painted and ready to ride with new tires and brakes and no exhaust leaks. So kind of ridiculous, but I mean, everybody put a price on something. I guess it turns into a negotiation, or it's just no. I seen a little old 82 Nissan Sentra. I was like, man, I'd love to build me an old dunk the way I had it. Oh, I wanted $1,800. Can't get parts. You know, the other stuff you just can't get the parts, or if you do find them, somebody finds something you want, you gotta have it. You know, it's ridiculous. Still gotta finish up the link bars on the roll bars for that, and that exhaust is absolutely bugging me. I might have to get like a heavy heat silicone, something like that, to put over the exhaust, because when it goes down the road, it vibrates. I don't have the bracket in there for the manifold, so that could be some of it. Put the lift kit on there. I adjusted the bars as good as they're going to get. You know, I put the cradle in it. I mean, you got to have a vehicle you can drive down the road. I don't want to do that. You should just be able to buy something that you pay that kind of money for and enjoy it. Tried to sell me a lemon and actually wanted another $1,000. I said, no way, Jose. You know, we agreed on a price, and I was like, well, you know, first 2 or 3 days it wouldn't even start and run. Once I figured out the fuel pump, oh, you fixed? No. You tried to sell me a lemon. She thought the transmission was going out. Because that's what I thought, too. I was like, well, well, you still owe me. So she said that. I was like, man, I just about gave her $1,000 less. You know, it's BS, but I've been driving it. I've had to do a lot to it. Wiper blades didn't work. Still needs a window regulator. It needs that a box up there, but good luck. But right here's these tobacco plants too. Just to update today. We've done all we can do. It's too hot. It's going to be too hot. It's going to be up to 100 degrees here in the next couple days. I walk outside, I can't breathe. So just going to have to be good enough. I'm happy. We're just cleaning up a little bit, and like I say, we're waiting on that motor plate. You know, I contacted those guys. Hasn't been 6 weeks yet, even though, you know, when we first talked, It was going to be, yeah, I'll send you like some screenshots of the design and blah, blah. Whatever, no big deal. Just have to hurry up and wait, I guess. And then we'll try to get that motor down in that truck. I got to pull the motor out of the truck, put a motor down in it. Then we'll have to splice in the wiring harness. I'm using that dash rack and the 2 side pieces. So we had to cut the dash out to get her 2 side pieces. It's a lot. It's a lot to do, okay? That was a whole lot. And, you know, I got to get some electrodes for the plasma cutter before we can do that. I just don't want to get halfway through it and then have to put it back together, because I don't care to put it back together once I got what I got off of it to keep it whatever it is. But I need some electrodes. So without electrodes, I'm not doing nothing else as far as cutting that up. And it's right on them wood chips, and it's hot. I mean, it's like wicked hot. So you're going to have to be careful. It's going to have to come down to like 80. That'll be next week sometime. So we'll probably take a break on the car and all that. I'm just going to clean up, nothing fancy. And I'll just be working on like a lighter holder for the wallet. And then I was thinking about making another wallet. But I'm going to get some fresh leather. Use some nails, kind of nail it all down, make sure it's right. It's almost a little too big. Put it in my pocket. You almost can't get it out. Make it great for, you know, somebody trying to snag it or something, but a little too big. Maybe like a 1/4 inch less on both sides would be better. So we're going to make number 2. And we got to make us a lighter holder to match what we got. I'll just keep it if it's good in my pocket. Like I say, I don't sell nothing. I just don't. People aggravate me, and I don't get along with people. Or, you know, it's some stupidity like some kind of taxes, or, you know, you got to have a business license to collect the tax. I ain't going to do all that. I don't care. I don't do enough. It's a hobby. You know, most time I just give them away or something. I gave one to a guy. I've gave 3 away so far. So that's 3 lighter holders and 2 of the novelty wallets as a gift. But that's our progress, guys. A lot of yapping, just mainly talking. They're getting that cleared out. You know, I think with Carl, he's got his feel for the logs. You know, he'll probably strip it bone clean. One of the other neighbors wanted some of that firewood to get it cleaned up. Sure, I don't care. Only him. You know, Carl's going to get his little first out of there or whatever. Because he takes care of the driveway, he comes down all the time. You know, I'll go up there and use his welder to fix stuff that I have to fix of my own. I'm hoping to do better and be able to take care of my own self. But, you know, life at Restart, it happens. You know, we're just going to have to keep plugging along and do better. That's all we can do. Try to make the videos better too, do an intro. I've been trying to find some software. I don't get paid from YouTube. I don't get paid from none of that stuff. This is just for fun. Something to do. Keeps me up on my feet. I can't stay up for a long time, so I got to do what I got to do. My blood pressure getting high. You know, it's like, oh, try standing up. Well, you know, if your legs don't work great, sometimes you can't, okay? You know, you can say a lot. You can put $1 million on something. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? Or they just, people ain't got no money, man. You know, you start saying economy. Hey, man, I don't know where you're from, but I don't know if I pay you even 1/4 of what you really want for it. I mean, let's be honest. Especially if they don't take it and do something with it, like cut it up and use it or something. It's scrap. People can't come to terms with it. It's the economy. No, you just want too much out of your stuff. It takes a lot of money to get. You got a lot of money in. You're just not going to get nothing out of it. Take some to the pawn shop. I'm a firm believer in that. Take it to the, buy it brand new, take it to the pawn shop. You want to pawn it, huh? I give you $60 pawn. They want to pawn something. If you pawn something, yeah, you can pawn something, and, you know, they think you're going to come back and get it. You want to sell them something, they never buy nothing. Oh, I got plenty of stuff, I got to get rid of stuff. Hey, you know, and some of them guys, you know, they sweat them pretty hard. We know a guy over here in town, he's like, man, I've gave $2,500 today away. I don't know, it's just like they get too confrontational. Like, man, I gave money away, and they're still calling. You know, I try to be a good dude. I've got plenty of money. I make loans. I'm trying to sell that and recoup some money. And if you try to make any money off of it, people try to cut your throat on it. I used to give out loans. We had a pawn shop, you know. I've seen the Declaration of Independence come through the door 20 times. Suit and tie, had the this is the person that's going to authenticity of this. Well, I was like, dude, you just stop. The show was great. But it was the same people over and over. They put a wig on, put a little mustache. Oh, dude, man, the characters, and it was just next level. I mean, I wish I had it on camera. It was so that hardcore. And then, you know, we had people that would hit like 20 pawn shops in the same day. Dude, I've gave her, she's made 10 pawns today. How much more money does she need? We kind of like, don't come back today. Don't come back in a week. I'm loaned out. Where are you getting this stuff at? You know what I mean? I mean, she would go like state to state. So I don't know if she had a money problem or, you know, she just, I mean, that's the way she made her money. You know what I mean? But whatever.